The Four Faces of Mercury Part 2. The first face of Mercury, Promethean retrograde. Mercury shows its first face at the beginning of its cycle. Born anew from the cycle just closing, the mercurial faculties of mind and communication have been impressed with a new quality of will, purpose and energy, symbolized by the zodiacal and house positions of the inferior conjunction which inaugurated the new cycle. But it will take the entire cycle for this new quality of fully unfold. Now, at the beginning of the cycle, it is pure potential, suggested by the astronomical fact that at the inferior conjunction Mercury is closest to the Earth, with its dark side facing the Earth. Like the waxing hemicycle of the lunation cycle, from new moon to full moon, the entire Promethean hemicycle of Mercury denotes eager, impulsive, spontaneous, form-building, involutionary and constructive activity. It suggests a restless mind concerned with new ideas, seeking new forms of creative expression. Mercury begins its cycle during its retrograde period. A situation providing a symbolic key to one of the mysteries of the human mind and to Mercury's dual nature. Our mind and mental faculties develop counterpoint to the instincts of biological life and whatever is grounded in the past. The technological feats such a mind makes possible can greatly enhance life. But concentrated mental activity can also lead human individuals to live and work against the imperatives of life and nature. The Promethean threads a cutting edge. In mythology, it was Prometheus who gave the fire of mind to infant humanity. A rebel challenging the dominion and authority of the gods in turn exacted from Prometheus a severe penalty, perpetually having his liver eaten out by a vulture, only to have it regenerated and devoured again and again, until rescued by Hercules. If your Mercury type is Promethean retrograde, you possess a mind seeking independence from biological limitations and the dictates of social convention. It does so because it is driven by an intuitive impulse to realize a new quality of being, the full nature of which you may not as yet clearly or fully understand. But independence from natural compulsions and social convention often leads to a more or less violent rebellion against the past and its traditions, or from anything which holds back your mental eagerness. Eventually, the Promethean retrograde type generally tires of resisting whatever she feels hinders her freedom. Then mental combativeness gives ways to a powerful intuitive identification with, and a creative contribution to, something greater than the person. Because the Promethean retrograde phase lasts from 10 to 15 days, it is seen in only about 1 out of 10 birth charts. Great minds and influential thinkers are found among Promethean retrograde types, including Aldous Huxley. A member of England's most prominent scientific family, Huxley migrated to America, where he became a famous novelist and social critic. Always a futuristic thinker, Huxley's Promethean retrograde Mercury is clearly shown in his best-known novel, Brave New World. Mercury's character is traditionally said to be asexual, and its significance in a natal chart doesn't vary much between men and women. Women born during Mercury's Promethean retrograde phase, however, often find themselves engaged in challenging traditional roles and in defining a new image of woman. Some of the most outstanding icons of new womanhood are Promethean retrograde types. Victoria Woodhull, an early feminist of the 19th century and one of the most Promethean women of the modern era, is exemplary of the type. Chrissie Hynde, who opened the way for women to work as creative and musical principals in the world of rock music, is a contemporary icon whose legacy has a tremendous impact on creative young women. The editor of Cosmopolitan and author of Sex and the Single Girl, Helen Gurley Brown, is another Promethean retrograde woman. The second face of Mercury begins when its zodiacal motion is stationary turning direct. It ends 40 to 50 days later. A few days after Mercury turns direct, it reaches its furthest distance from the Sun, about 28 degrees. Known as Mercury's greatest western elongation, it corresponds with the waxing square aspect or the first quarter lunation type. Mercury's greatest elongation symbolizes intensified, projective mental activity seeking external expression. About 10 days after turning direct, intuition and future-inspired living quickens as Mercury's speed of motion outpaces the Sun's. Mercury is quickest around the superior conjunction, which concludes this phase, when the mind is most eager, tending to run ahead of itself. A Promethean direct Mercury suggests a mind generally more at peace with itself and its environment than the Promethean retrograde. Individuals of this type are likely to be driven by external, social and real-world issues. Inner drives and issues, and personal experiences, are more likely to be the mental forces behind individuals born during Promethean retrograde. Both types indicate eager, energetic, intuitive, compelling and future-oriented mental temperaments, but while exemplary Promethean retrograde types tend to be visionaries dedicated to creating, formulating and dramatizing new ideas and new ways of life, Promethean direct types are generally more able to effectively project their visions, reforms and agendas, often first inspired and articulated by Promethean retrograde types, upon the social and intellectual world, making things happen on a large scale. It is no surprise this projective and effective Mercury type is seen in the birth charts of many successful politicians. If you were born during Mercury's Promethean direct phase, you possess an intuitive mind coupled with effective faculties of communication, enabling you to both convince others of the validity of your ideas and to inspire them with your future-oriented, far-seeing vision. If you were born near Mercury's maximum elongation, you may be so mentally intense and certain that some might find you overwhelming, while others may find you mentally stimulating and inspiring. Mind is neutral, which explains why astrological tradition assigns asexual attributes to Mercury. As a Promethean direct type, you need to focus on values, symbolized by Venus, because without a clear set of guiding values and ideals, a powerful Promethean direct mind can be a ruthless force. Cultivate mental watchfulness because your thoughts, ideas and visions may become concrete realities. The second face of Mercury is seen in the birth charts of Presidents Eisenhower, Kennedy, Nixon, Carter, Reagan, Bush, and Clinton. Fathers of the American Revolution, Thomas Paine, and Thomas Jefferson, exemplify the Promethean direct type, as do Mikhail Gorbachev and Boris Yeltsin. The originator of the quantum theory, Max Planck, was born during this phase as well. So were Franz Liszt, precursor of the modern superstar, and his friend George Sand, the famous 19th-century novelist and liberated woman. Al Gore and the Dalai Lama of Tibet are also Promethean direct types. Let me know what do you think. Looking forward to your comments.